Good morning. Today I am pleased to introduce ThinkTrace, a human-guided, AI-supported, process-based alternative assessment framework. ThinkTrace addresses a fundamental question in engineering education today. In the age of generative AI, how can we assess not only what students produce, but also the thinking that leads to that final outcome? Our focus is simple, making student thinking visible. Traditionally, we assess what we can see, police reports, final designs, calculations, and presentations. But in the age of generative AI, the final product tells us only part of the story. What may remain hidden is the actual intellectual process behind that product. How did the student arrive at the answer? What reasoning took place? What decisions were made? This is the missing evidence that ThinkTrace seeks to capture. Behind every final answer is a much richer learning process. Students reason and apply logic. They justify decisions, respond to feedback, reflect critically, and continuously improve their work. These processes are important evidence of authentic learning, yet they are often invisible when assessment focuses mainly on the final submission. So the question is no longer simply, what did the student produce? We also need to ask, how did the student think? ThinkTrace responds to this challenge through three interconnected principles. First, it is process-based, capturing student reasoning across structured milestones. Second, it is AI-supported, where technology help identify evidence gaps and areas requiring deeper thinking. Third, it is human-guided, because lecturers remain responsible for academic rigor, content, and professional judgment. Together, these three elements form the foundation of ThinkTrace. At the heart of ThinkTrace is what we call the cognitive trail. It follows 6 stages: understand, reason, decide, act, reflect, and improve. Students begin by understanding the problem and its constraint. They reason through information and alternatives, make and justify decisions, then act on those decisions. They subsequently reflect on the results and feedback before improving their work based on evidence. This creates a visible trail of how thinking developed throughout the learning process. But making thinking visible requires evidence. ThinkTrace therefore transforms the cognitive trail into longitudinal student evidence. This includes structured artifacts that document reasoning and decision, timestamps that mark progress across milestones, and version control that show how ideas evolve. Feedback, responses to feedback, and transparent disclosure of AI use provide additional evidence. Instead of seeing only the final snapshot, we can now see the student's learning journey. ThinkTrace operates as a continuous 5-stage cycle. We begin with define, where lecturers align learning outcomes and milestones. Students then capture cognitive evidence. During support, AI provides formative gap analysis. Students improve by reflecting and revising their work. Finally, during assess, the lecturer evaluates both the process evidence and the final product. Assessment therefore becomes part of a continuous learning and improvement cycle. This distinction is critical to ThinkTrace. AI does not replace the lecturer, and it does not make the final academic decision. Student thinking produces documented evidence. AI can analyze that evidence formatively and identify gaps and prompt deeper reasoning. Students then use that feedback to improve, but the final interpretation and evaluation remain with the lecturer. The principle is clear. AI supports. Students think. Lecturers decide. ThinkTrace creates value at 3 levels. For students, it provides better formative feedback, make learning progression visible, and encourages stronger reasoning. For lecturers, it provides structured and auditable evidence that can support better informed professional judgment. At institutional level, ThinkTrace can strengthen alignment with outcome-based education, improve transparency in quality assurance, and support responsible integration of AI into assessment. The value, therefore, extends beyond a single assignment or classroom. In conclusion, ThinkTrace represents a shift from assessing only the final answers towards understanding the intellectual journey behind it. It allows us to see how students understand, reason, decide, act, reflect, and improve. AI can support this process, but thinking remains the responsibility of the student, and academic judgment remains the responsibility of the lecturer. ThinkTrace does not assess only the answer. It assesses the thinking behind the answer. AI supports, students think, lecturers decide. Thank you.